Hello. Late night streaming here. Gonna be talking about some different stuff that I've noticed in the gaming world recently. Shouldn't be a long stream, maybe like 30 minutes or so. Gonna read through some stuff and just talk about the title that we're looking at right now. Want some more hype music though. A little bit too chill for me. A little better. I'm fine with this. Alrighty. Let's get it started. What up? So, what's going on with casual gaming? It's going away. It's not really there anymore. And casual gaming doesn't really necessarily have to do with like games you play by yourself. It's more so games that you play with other people, right? I've been playing games for a long time, and I miss playing games with like my family by myself. But like back in the day, you could just enjoy a game and not know anything else that could happen in the world of that game, right? So let's say you're playing Super Mario World, you just play Super Mario World and you just play. If you lose, you lose. If you beat it, you beat it, whatever. But you're just playing. And you would keep playing that game over and over again. And you would keep learning things about the game as you play the game, right? As is expected. Then Game Informer and those other books started to become more available, at least to us. Because now we're older, right? We can go to the store, we see the Game Informer, we can look through it. We can look for hints and guides for your games. That was actually good for stuff like Mortal Kombat. We had to get like Scott stuff, cool stuff, cooler stuff. You could unlock different fatalities and one button fatalities, one button like finishers or whatever. And that added to the game, right? Because it's not really taken away so much. You just have to press like up, down, B, or left, right, B, or whatever you have to press to do these things. It's more than that, but just for argument's sake, you could just do a one tap and do your fatality or do your finisher. That didn't really affect core gameplay, right? You still have to win the match to do your one button fatality, unless you turn on like a one hit kill. I think I had, I don't remember, but it didn't affect how fun the game was. Knowing how to do the codes to get that stuff, the game was still the game. I even used one game book to figure out how to beat Super Mario RPG because we were stuck in the underwater ship. We couldn't get the password. Like we tried, we just couldn't beat the puzzles at that early stage. This is like 7, 8, 9. So obviously we wouldn't gonna beat the puzzles at that age. I mean, if we tried, we could do it, but we were stuck there for a long time. So to this day, I know the password for the ship because I just have to know the password, right? Because it's just in my memory. It's a simple word. So that helped us, but that was the only thing we looked for about that game because we were stuck on just that part. There's a parallel there to what I'm gonna talk about now, so I'm just gonna make the parallel. If you're stuck in a game, you can look it up now and get help. I do it sometimes as well. But taking it back, knowing the code to the ship they didn't change the core values of the game or change anything about the game, right? It was still Mario RPG. You still had to play it, still had to beat the enemies, you level up, or you brute force it, or whatever. But the game was still a game. Now you could have looked up more stuff on what to do in the game, but I don't think any book would help you do anything differently in the game. I need to get some water. I'll be right back. I'm gonna leave this up here so you can see what we're gonna be talking about in a little bit. Where was I? Oh yeah. So you beat the game and you had fun. Move on to the next game and do the same thing. I don't remember using any other like guides for any other games except for like Jet Force Gemini, but that game was kind of bugged. So the thing that you need to progress in the game wouldn't show up. We looked it up and we still couldn't figure it out, so we just trashed that game. Now we're gonna move forward and like super fast forward to now, to where games are online, multiplayer. You can play with friends across the world. You can play with friends in your city or whatever. Doesn't really matter. Now we have things like, you know, builds becoming a thing. For like shooting games like Destiny or Outriders or whatever. Now it's like, okay, what's the best builds? In my personal opinion, I don't think there needs to be like the best of anything. So let's say, for example, you're playing Anthem and the best character is Storm. I understand it. If you're trying to win, you pick Storm. But if you really want to be an interceptor, just go ahead and do it. And I feel like games shouldn't limit you in what you can do and how you can have fun based on what you pick. If like being anti-meta was a thing, I'll be very anti-meta. I don't like talking meta. I don't like seeing meta, and not just meta in terms of builds, but meta in terms of like gameplay. So you go on YouTube and you search up any game, you're gonna see like top 10 things to do or avoid these mistakes in playing. But there's no videos, so just like, here's how you have fun in the game, here's what you do to enjoy the game. And I get it. I'm not trying to knock any of the content being made or any of the videos being made. They're usually very well done videos and very informative, but from a gaming standpoint, I feel like those videos should come after you've played the game. And I know it's hard because they come out right when the game is coming out. So when you try to look up stuff about the game, like should I buy the game or not, they already existed. So obviously, if you're inclined to, you're gonna click it. And if you click it, that's fine. I usually avoid videos like that until after I've played the game because I want to genuinely go into the game giving it my all and not being like, okay, I know I have to go here to do this, to get this, to enjoy the game later on. I mean, everyone wants to enjoy the game. No one wants to lose all the time or whatever. But I feel like getting that connection with the game one-on-one is a special thing. And I don't know if it's like just a personal thing or if it's like something that most people have. Someone recently told me that there's a lot of people in the world, so obviously there are people who have the similar views as me, but I still feel like I don't want to push my personal feelings out there without like really thinking if it's like just a me thing. Obviously there might be people who are just like me, so I don't look at guides, I don't look at like the top 10 items you should be getting or whatever. I just play the game. If I don't like it, I don't like it. If I like it, I like it. But I want to be the judge of how I have fun. Yeah, like that's just it. Like, I want to be the one to say, well, I like doing this or I like doing that. If I'm doing like the wrong thing, I don't think it will be like game breaking to not get this weapon by level 10. It's gonna be harder, sure, but I'm still enjoying the game. I'm still playing the game. And when you get to the point where it's day one and you see videos like 500 hours into the game, this is what it looks like. What do you mean? The game came out today. But you know, people have like early access and stuff like that. And that's partly where I want to be in my journey of like making content and playing games and YouTube and Twitch and all that. Is that I want to be somebody that gets to test games out before they come out and after they come out, and just give my opinion, give my feedback and stuff like that. But I don't think I would post a video of like X amount of hours in a game on day one. I don't think that's something that I would do personally, because I don't like it. Just feels weird. It feels like you left out. So there's a bunch of FOMO out there in the world. But I would do videos like just a playthrough of like the demo or a playthrough of the early access, which I've been doing on my channels. That's more fun for me to do than to try and find the best way to play the game. Because in my opinion, the best way to play the game is whatever makes it the most fun for you. Have I fallen victim to meta before? Yes, because that's literally the only way to progress sometimes in games. Is to just do what everybody else is doing, just to keep going forward. Every time I take my dog to the park, the dog tries to bite him. That's why I find a purebred dog. What? Oh my, a purebred dog? That's funny. How you doing? Three years, 2 months, and 13 hours. Wow. Your name is still wild as hell. How you been? You'll always be wild? Yeah, for sure. How do you feel about meta in games? That's what we're talking about tonight. Trying to maintain the casual gamer while existing in the world of meta. Where was I? Games come out, there's already videos on like 100 hours, 500 hours into the game. There's videos on the top 10 things you should be doing. There's videos on avoid these 7 mistakes when you first start playing. To me, it just takes the fun away from the game, so I just avoid them. at all costs. I just play to play the game. I could care less about the metas and what class to use. Exactly. That's how I feel too. Because then, at that point, why are you playing the game? That's a real question to ask, right? If I bought this game because I want to enjoy it, why not just enjoy it? Why would I have somebody else tell me how I should play the game? Play to have fun, not rage after getting killed. Yeah, I mean, obviously we can still rage after getting killed. That's not bad at all. I do it all the time, but that's only because I've tried like 50 times to do it and it's just like not working, which is probably a point to the meta side, that they don't have to worry about losing because they're always going to win. But then that's still not fun. Like, to some people, win all the time is fun, but to me, win all the time is not really that fun. It gets boring unless you win in progressively and you do like different levels multiple times. Then that's fun. But rage to the point where you start breaking stuff gets expensive. Oh yeah, we had a friend here who would break his controllers playing like paladins. It's like, bro, we're not even in ranked. We're just in the regular lobby. Like, what are you doing? But in that game, other players aren't really playing at a level where they should be playing. But it would still be somewhat fun if you just think about enjoying the game and making yourself be better. The reason why I brought this up is because Sir Harmonus sent me some stuff. This was the first thing he sent me. Like, Helldivers 2 players are kicking teammates who don't have meta loadouts. Problematic already. So it's like, if you're not running this, you gotta go. If you're doing this, you gotta go. I mean, come on. I feel like it's entitled mindset to limit people enjoying themselves because they're not doing what you think they should be doing, what you think is the best way of playing the game. I mean, it probably is the best way to play the game, but still, like, I don't want to see 50, let's say, archers all running fire arrows and doing smoke bombs. Like, I mean, I get it, we're gonna win every time, but like, what's the point? I can't even play it's hard for me to play games like Pokemon Unite, even watch League of Legends. I feel like you just in a routine every single time, right? Go bot lane or top lane, you fight the adds, you kill the stuff around the map, fight enemies if they come too close. You gotta go to the bottom at 3 minutes and 20 seconds, go to the top at 4 minutes and 20 seconds, go to the middle at 5 minutes. Every single match is the same thing. The only variation is if you pick a different character, but it's still the same thing every time. So it's hard for me to get into it. It's hard for me to like it a lot. I like it for the aspect of having different Pokemon, but then you get to a point where everybody's running Lucario, everybody's running Charizard, for example. It's like, oh, I can't be Pikachu because I'm going to lose for sure. If I pick like Cinderace, I could win like 9 out of 10 times. That's the same problem again. It's like, you're limited into how much fun you can have, and you can't even play your favorite Pokemon because they're trash in the game. You have to follow the meta and pick a role that fills in. So if there's only a defender spot left, you have to be a defender. You have to be the best defender. If you don't have them, you're gonna lose. People are gonna talk about you. They're gonna either leave the lobby, or they're gonna start griefing, start feeding, or taking your kills. And it's like, bro, I'm just trying to have fun. It's a game. Oh, so this is the actual article, but I want to read this first because what we were talking about. So we need to set the standard for 8+ mission. I guess this is Helldivers. Haven't played the game. Hate to join, I'll leave it so quick. I'm not back, right? Hey, it's all good, man. No problem. I'll talk to you later. Peace. If using anything but the right breaker and gun, kick. If they have ruthless stratagems that are weak, kick. They don't have either railgun or nail launcher, kick. Not using the shield, kick. High levels, your stupid dogs are pointless. It's not about killing, it's about living to do objectives. Some would argue autocannon, but the game armor is not working, so shield is a must on higher levels. I've seen too many wasted spots with autocannon players. We just had a standard for high level rank pug play. You can have your silly builds or weak guns on your own or friend's time, but if you're not using these things, you're trolling and should be kicked. No. Very dumb take. How am I trolling by having fun? I don't want to be in a rigid mindset and be like, I have to play this, and this. I'm gonna get kicked. What if I just don't like how the guns play? What if I just want to do what I want to do? This reminds me of playing Destiny, and I had to go to LFG looking for a group. It was such a hassle. I had to go in LFG, look for a group, and find a group that I could actually fit into. There were some groups that were very open to new players, but then the raids are very, specific. They're very routine, like I was talking about before as well. But they'll get boring too. You have to do this, go here, and then as a fresh player, I've only done 1 or 2 raids, right? So now I'm in a group, and they're like, okay, we're gonna do the cycle skip on the dogs. And I'm like, okay. First of all, what does that mean? Second of all, how do I do it? Because the meta isn't just for builds now, it's for how runs are played, how the techniques, how the strategy to beat the stages. But now it's you have to know the meta of how to beat the run, otherwise you're just useless, right? But like I said, this group was really good, so they taught me and another new player what to actually do to do the skips or whatever. So I'm a fast learner, so by the 3rd or 4th time I knew exactly what I was supposed to do and where I was supposed to be, blah 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 blah. But it was so stressful to have to perform such a level as a brand new player. But I did it. We did a lot of good runs. We actually made it through the raids. I would say 9 out of 10 times we got to the end, and we lose to the boss. So we didn't lose getting there. But at the same time, that meta only exists because of where we are right now in gaming. You can just look up the fastest way to do the raids, and then it'll tell you, well, you could skip this, you could skip that. So you're not actually playing the game to its full, whatever the word I want to use here is. You're not playing the game to its full value, I guess, because you're skipping parts of the raid. You're not fighting everything. You just get into the end as fast as possible, which might make sense if you just want to farm. But I feel the raids are there for a reason. But I could be wrong. Again, like I said before, I'm just here chilling. But I went on a little rabbit hole while I was looking up meta stuff. What's here? Yeah, set the standards. Not using the right stuff. I'm not saying meta build or nothing. I'm just saying the people who don't play on Hell Dive difficulty are the ones who seem to suggest others to not use a meta build. Trust me, there's nothing fun about taking a shieldless autocannon liberator penetrator loadout to Hell Dive difficulty. But at one time you tell me you had fun. On the other side are players who think such behavior is shameful because at the end of the day, Helldivers 2 is a co-op game about having fun above all else. One player such as Root CC blah blah who took to Reddit to express their disbelief Apparently, people are already starting to get kicked in higher difficulties for not using certain loadouts, they said. Sounds absolutely ridiculous to me. You're not competing on some kind of leaderboard against other Helldivers. It's okay to not do a mission 100% or to fail a mission. Just revel in the chaos and have fun playing the game. We're working together in the name of democracy. That's what the game's about, I guess. Fair to say, this debate is approaching meme status with the Helldivers 2 community. Shaming Helldivers for their loadout choices, shaming Helldivers for ignoring their automaton attack. In response to all the meta slaves, don't knock it till you thoroughly test it. So, like, this is me over here on the right. I'll try these cool guns because it's fun. And on the left, I'll try these cool guns because it's fun. And in the middle, you must run only strong railgun and shield. Like, you see, like, there's more people in the middle than there are on either side. So I guess I do have people who maybe think like me, but there's a lot of people who think like meta is the only way to go. One word about meta and I'll kill you. That's my thing for here in this channel. Like, I don't like talking meta. I don't like chasing the meta at all. I just want to play and have fun, man. I went to the comments here. And the reason why I just don't bother with multiplayer games unless it's with the person sitting next to me or someone I know I can speak to on the phone as we play. Phone is crazy. Just go on Discord. Yep, this isn't a Helldivers problem. It's a problem for all these schemes. It's been happening for over 10 years. Now Helldivers thrown into the spotlight. People are killing friendly people and kicking players. Well, welcome to online gaming. Enjoy. Disagree. It's a problem easily solved with better matchmaking systems. Better games can cater to tryhards and casuals alike, sometimes even bringing the two together in successful ways. This is probably a live service problem. It's the only excuse I can come up with for screwing this up in a co-op game. We can't do any dynamic pair-player scaling balancing because people would game the system by showing up wearing only one sock, which makes it impossible for us to sell gloves cosmetics. I don't think that's the problem though. I really don't. As it's a scenario of people demanding particular loadouts for difficulty. Most of the time, those lobbies would most likely be friends only. Wouldn't be surprised, but I doubt it's bad to warrant an article. This is not to warrant an article. I've run into a lot of situations like this as I've yet to play on the difficulty tiers. I mainly plan to take those on with only my buds so I find a comfortable loadout for it. That's also not that doesn't matter what you said. But you just said you haven't felt it, so it doesn't matter to you. And, just gotta make your own game. They don't have to worry about being kicked. True. But then, even if you make your own lobby, if they see you not running what you're supposed to run, they're gonna leave the lobby, and you're just stuck. Okay, skip this. This comment is done. Skip it. I have so much fun playing this game with a group of friends online, but the fun really does decrease with randoms. I mean, it depends, right? The randoms don't know you and they don't know what to expect from you. They're probably not running the right stuff that matches with you, but your friends will. I have not played Helldivers 2, but I've played plenty of games that gatekeeped high-end runs in the past, and most specifically was part of the high-end gatekeeping community in the past. I was an advocate of it in the past. Now I think this is wrong. I wrote that I haven't played Helldivers 2, so I'm not sure of how matchmaking works, but I'm speaking more about these types of games in general and not just Helldivers 2 specifically. I think that it's best left for Discord groups or other such groups rather than automatically kicking people. That way you can play in pubs, public games, and if someone you meet seems to be a person you can play high-end level matches with, invite them to your Discord group or start a new Discord group or other such community, especially for co-op games rather than competitive ones. And that way you can form new friendships, even lasting ones that can last years or even decades. You can play pubs to have fun and have a dedicated high-end group to play with, like a guild or link shells or equivalent in an MMORPG. And that way, new people who are now getting to that end game part of the game can start learning the ropes from themselves, for themselves, where people just inspiredly gatekeeping them out for reasons that may not be known to that new player at the time. The goal is to have a thriving community in these types of games that you love, and that means having a steady influx of new people. You have to be welcoming to those people as a seasoned vet. That's a very good take. That's a very good introspective, I think that's the right word, take on this. There's always going to be players who are new to the game, who know nothing about the game, so they're just having fun. 100% this, the expectation should be the other way around. Random groups is for fun and chaos. You want to be serious about it, then find people to group without you agree with how to approach them. That's it. Like, matchmaking is not meant for like streamlining meta play or streamlining winning. It's meant for just hopping into any lobby that's open and then just having fun. And trust me, I get it, right? I get that it sucks to lose. I get it. But at the end of the day, you need to just have fun. Except there are 6 other difficulties where you can goof around. Impossible and Helldiver difficulty is the end game. It requires everyone on the squad to bring their best. Bringing the best stratagems and equipment should be a bare minimum. Until Arrowhead boosts other weapon stratagems, those are the ones to bring for the end game. Good around on suicide or lower. I stand by what I said. If you want to take those high difficulties seriously, then it's on you to find teammates. Randoms are for everyone. No one forces you to play with randoms. The burden is on the one those looking for specific teammates. What I should do is bring them all up to the level of the railgun, so it won't be any meta. Can't stand by this if it disrupts the whole point of the game. Bring all weapons in line so a person can just choose what they want and have fun and still complete the mission. This right here is me. And then there's another. Where is it? I tell you, I've been doing rabbit hole in this whole thing. Not this one, not this one. Doesn't matter. Someone spoke about. Is it this one? No, this is Dead by Daylight. But anyways, someone spoke about Gran Turismo, which I'm going to compare in a small way to Need for Speed. There's 20-30 cars in the game, but you need the top 3 or 4 to win at the end. I get it. Some cars are faster, but then if my rating for my car is the same as the rating for the other cars, I just want to compete. So in the late game, the game bottlenecks you into picking these limited number of cars to try and win, and it's everybody has the same car now, so it's it loses the allure. The only allure there is now how you customize the car. Alright, this article says, are video games too focused on the meta rather than enjoyment now? I know that enjoyment is super subjective, but in my experience, enjoyment has been about what's fun. I've always tried to do fun stuff in games, but meta has taken over games so much that I'm thinking of taking a break from them. Obviously in PvP games, there'll always be optimal things and things that won't. But even in co-op games and some single player games, everything is focused on a meta until it gets nerfed and then a new meta arises. One of my favorite games of all time, Destiny, was victim to meta, and it got so bad if you didn't have a particular weapon or armor piece to upgrade, you'd be kicked from the game, and sometimes from the friend group. Yo, picking your friend for not having the right weapon is insane to me. For any game, you can look up most fun characters in whatever game, or most fun builds in whatever game, and get a sea of tier lists for what's optimal and what's garbage. Maybe do 3 videos on how to have fun. Anyone's having this problem pushing away metas or just trying to have some fun? So this person, obviously Mr. Solve It All Andy, don't look up most fun characters or guilds or whatever. Experiment and see what you like. He started off very well. If Destiny group kicks you off and not following the meta, look elsewhere for a group. Okay, we're going downhill. The only reason you should be looking into the meta for any given game is if you want to be involved in the absolute top tier content. So it's probably important there. You're not reaching champion in Siege if you don't understand what's being nerfed, what is a little too OP right now. If you don't find that fun, then just play however you want to play, as long as you're not trolling, griefing, making someone else's time worse. I mean, they're just blunt, right? Play some single player games without looking up guides. Just start something up and chill, or play a co-op game with one or two friends. Your friends don't care if you're not concerned with using the best characters up in Borderlands 3, or the most powerful build in the Divinity Original Sin 2. Or step out from games entirely for a week or two and see how you feel. Actually, when I read it the first time, it seemed like he was coming off like being an a-hole. But now that I read it again, he's just bluntly responding to him. And it's not a bad take at all. And this is the one I was talking about. I think games are doing just fine. It's players that have the meta addiction. Almost every game I've played with some kind of fun, some kind of automation strategy I'm completely aware of until I'm completely unaware of, right? Yeah. Until wading into the subreddit where I find some truly in the weeds dialogue going on. Back when Apex Legends was fresh and news was when I was most closely following a conversation that like that, but even then my only goal was to complete the daily and weekly challenges for Battle Pass experience. Battle Pass? That's not a stream altogether. Understanding the meta didn't make me any less likely to play a character just because their hitbox was a disadvantage or their skills were relatively pointless. I will say though that Gran Turismo 7 does seem specifically designed around some sort of meta that undermines what's so appealing about it. In that most of the content that is worthwhile, or at least has the most currency return per minute played, all revolve around the same incredibly limited pool of vehicles, despite offering so many cool cars from the 60s and 70s that just aren't viable. And the weirdest part is that the PP grading system is quite arcane. You can enter certain races with older cars tuned to be competitive on paper by the game's assessment, only to realize within a half minute you're not even gaining on the first car ahead of you. There are literally hundreds of cars in that game that don't have content to match, constantly either way under or overpowered. It's weird. Anyway, got a randomized system, thanks. But now that I think about it, right? They have tiers for a reason. So like I guess like a classes for a reason. You wouldn't want to put like a C tier Miata against an A tier Ferrari, right? It wouldn't make sense. But at the same time, we need more content, because once you get further up, that Miata is never gonna use ever again. So we need some like higher level competitive stuff where you can still use the C tiers against other C tiers, I guess. But you still have to go back to get it, and you know, like you're not just doing A. You're going back and getting the cars that you liked before and playing them again. But again, just me. It's fine. To some people, the enjoyment is in finding the creative or the best thing. It's frustrating when it has to matter, such as competitive. I think it's a flaw in game design where there's a clear, unambiguous meta character ability in an environment specifically. Outside of that, could not care less. Hey, to the point. I think here, meta is not the problem per se. It's like when meta has to be used. I think I agree with that. Like, meta is fine because it's just something that exists, right? It's just the best thing that exists in the moment. But when you have to pick the meta to win, like you have to pick this character with these abilities, or you can't get anywhere, that's when it becomes a problem to me. Personally, I like the meta idea in games like Destiny 2, which is a game I play a lot. It's like having the best equipment powers and just destroying enemies. It feels good having the best equipment powers and just destroying enemies. It can be annoying in fighting games, but only if watching it. Because seeing most people use the same 3 to 5 characters in a tournament can be boring at times. But if you're competing, you best pick a top tier or lose any chance of finishing in a place where the money is. Only special players can win big using lower tier character. Truth be told, meta always existed in games. It's just that now with social media, it's more talked about. The good news is, if you don't care about that, then you can still get enjoyment by playing most video games. That's what we are here. That's what we're all about here. My first idea for this channel is gonna be the casual gaming corner, because I don't do competitive gaming in terms of like trying to get to the top rank, right? I'll play like a game like Destiny or Apex, Fortnite. I'll play them, but I'm just playing for the laughs and to have fun. I'm not playing to get to gold, platinum, or whatever. I'm just playing Will I play ranked? Maybe. If someone invite me to play ranked, sure. If I want to not deal with people not playing the game right, sure. But that's a no. I just want to hop in, play, and leave. Alright, we're gonna insult people now. I don't want to insult anybody though. People who are always focused on the meta radiate those I live my model placement vibes, like getting better at a game and overcoming the challenges, sure. That's the point of the game before the notion of creating a cinematic experience. But obsessing over DPS and DOT numbers and unironically telling people to get good, scrub, no, F that. Video games are meant for fun and entertainment, not putting up with people. That is true. Alright, let's see. I played Pokemon for about 5 months a few years back. I was still playing it, but I had to stop because playing one online sent my heart rate into the stratosphere when I was winning or losing. Also, my thumbs really couldn't handle the intensity of button presses. The meta said I should be playing 3 or 4 specific characters, and most others were just bad. For my playstyle, the recommended character was Garchomp. I ended up playing my champ because the combos were the ones I felt best attuned to. Needless to say, my champ is considered C-tier character because of the speed of attacking versus the defensive capabilities. I ended up with something like 75% win rate because nobody knew how to deal with my champ, because the meta said not to play it, so nobody ever really faced it. That, and I was actually not terrible at reading the opponent, even whilst reaching the dangerous heart rate BPM. I don't think it's the game devs pubs that are focused on the meta, except in the games that actively need to build on meta like card games or MMOs. I think it's the players. That's actually a good thing too. You could actually flip the script because nobody expects you to play a weak character. That's cool. Overwatch was definitely a victim of this. Whether the winning team position was at the time in competitive mode would bleed into quick play. If you want a team of people just playing the favorite characters, the other team could just steamroll over you. You're correct. It got so bad that this was the issue with Overwatch League and why Overwatch 2 will have a 5-man team instead of a 6. So to try and correct that issue, will it work? Time will tell. I think the obsession with meta being prevalent now is due to the ease with transmitting information on Steam Reddit forums. Everyone needs to be a tryhard. I played a bit of Counter-Strike not that long ago with some friends to shoot bots, and already one guy was saying, "Don't use a weapon, it's not good, you need to stand here. I don't know the weapons occur and really don't know the maps. I just wanted to play for fun, like a social thing." Exactly, man. I know it's a hot take, but some people just play games to have fun. Sorry, I had to say it. Personally, I do find that most multiplayer games end up with too much of a focus on the meta or otherwise, playing optimally. In a single player game, I can just play what I want, but a lot of multiplayer games end up forcing you to match up with strangers, so you have to play with those people who want to play different from you. Destiny 2 is a game I had to stop playing because quests would force me to use the matchmaking to enter the strike content, and generally end up with a negative experience of watching someone else play the content for me, or be complained at because I'm not contributing as much as they are. Ah, man, that's so true. Final 14 has option for soloing dungeons, but I want to play with just 1 or 2 friends in the current expansion. I have to take a mandatory matchmaking, which means we were matched up with 2 other players we didn't need, and they didn't need us. Then we got to be frustrated as a group since our playstyles didn't match up. So that's more of an issue with some games, forcing people to play together without the option of even trying to play just yourself, or just with one friend in content with a 3 or 4 player capacity. There often isn't an option to avoid people who are playing drastically different from yourself. It means I find myself being pushed out of games where a large enough group of people have decided to play meta or optimally for whatever reason. Yeah, then the Destiny 2 thing is so true, because if someone already has all the meta weapons and they know everything to do, they can just wipe everybody out, and you're not getting a chance to enjoy the game, because even though you're on the same level, they're on a different mental level than you, right? So they're wiping out the entire stage and you haven't fired 1 bullet yet. So it's like, what am I even here for? So basically you get your hand held all the way to the loot you're looking for. I feel like matchmaking should be, you should be able to limit matchmaking to like just 1 or 2 people, maybe 3, like every level, like How many players do you want to be in your team? 3, because I have 2 friends coming in. Or let me invite 2 players, then lock the last spot, and let's just have us run it. I focus on enjoyment when I play, and meta thoughts don't ever enter in my brain. I guess it matters if you want to master a game or something. But there's so much out there worth playing that I'm never gonna get that deep into a single game. That's true as well for him. That makes sense. As mentioned, the ease of sharing information is key here. Metagaming has been around for decades. It's just that now with social media and streaming, there's a whole college of industry, of dedicated communities and personalities churning out discussions and propaganda rather than wrong power gaming. You can try to ignore it, but at this point you almost have to go out your way to do so, depending on the type of gaming you're looking at. This isn't necessarily a bad thing, since figuring out how to master a game has been part of the gaming for as long as gaming has existed. But as more people have grown up in a world where it is so easy to get access to these types of in-depth discussions and guides, I do feel like there's a sort of consensus among a large number of players that there isn't really a good excuse not to follow the meta. It's only a really problem when meta discussions turn around and adversely affect the game itself. Overwatch being the biggest example I can think of. Well, I admit, hearing people talk about games I want to play or replay and having metagaming talk infiltrate even at a basic level does not often dampen my interest. I don't think it's something that can or should be solved, since it's up to the devs to decide how to make their game, the community to police itself. It's kind of just up to you to engage with gaming content and discussions how you choose. You might just have to either cut yourself off or deal with it at a certain point. It's possible that the meta discussion can be a positive change. Overwatch is only the whipping boy here because the team behind it constantly chose to go down that most meta heavy path, the detriment of everyone outside that sphere. It's just easy for a dev team to look at how people are playing a game and identify issues that are worth fixing or tweaking the benefit of for everyone else. I like this. Yeah, so this is what I was talking about. Like, I don't watch videos on like the top 10 things to do, avoid these mistakes. I don't do any of that. I just load up, get in, get out, and that's it. Alright, we'll do a couple more like meta stuff. This is what's this? I don't know what game this was. Oh, this is for Warframe. It's from July 2023. This game is so old, but it still have issues like this. First up, blindly following the meta is a single worst strategy in the game and actively ruins it for others. First off, as long as you're having fun and not ruining the game for others, go off. Use whatever frames, weapons, pets, etc. you want. Wish that wasn't a controversial statement, but to some it is. On the first video of this very thread, at least one devoted meta user will attempt to rebuff everything here and try to paint my opinions as false, because it doesn't align with their very narrow worldview. I made a couple of threads about how toxic those players are, and regrettably they have gotten worse as the game has become more open and welcome. Warframe's core is designed to allow a huge variety of builds, not just be viable, but fun. Sure, some equipment has worse numbers than others, but that's just the nature of how the stats work. With the release of Dervil, blah blah, many of the lower tier or early game weapons gained incarnate forms, making them more viable and expanding numbers and possibilities. That's a good thing to do, like make all weapons somewhat level so that the weaker ones can still compete with the higher ones. A lot of people ask, what is meta? Yes, some people say it stands for most effective tactic available, which is not the case, especially in Warframe. Metagame is a strategy where you use the knowledge gained from outside the game to craft a better strategy. Observing others and then experimenting with what's available to succeed and advance. Not running Revenant because that's the agreed upon meta this week. I guess so. Well, how's it toxic? On the surface it's not, but sadly there's a very small but vocal group who will openly berate anyone who even slightly steps out of a line and ruins the mission if they don't get the biggest numbers, or 3 players who will blindly worship them for being the best. Their current meta is shield gating on everything. I don't care about reading all that. Or that. Somebody asked, why does this threat exist? The resistance is due to seeing how meta players have reacted to Culevero. They've been post calling Culevero a glass cannon like Enlarus. I spat my drink out when I saw this. In my experience from Circuit and my friend's experience from farming him from day one and using him ever since, he's like Enlarus, a beast in the right hands. Because Culevero doesn't have shields, you can't shield gate, which threatens the shield gating meta and the value of rare shield mods like Reef or Spike. Yes, I know it's just update him to make him able to sort of shield gate, but that'll just make the meta players go off at any healers who dare give them any extra overguard from healing them. TLDR. There's a very small subset of players who get big mad when someone gets bigger numbers in their meta build. That's wild. New players are often fed false and misinformation under the guise of it being the only way to succeed. Sure. Meta isn't real, not here anyways. Stop typing. I will go somewhere else. This person deleted their post, but I really wish I could have seen this. What the comments to say, dude, your first playthrough, just play however. Having powerful options lets people get through the game and see what it has to offer. Then your next playthroughs, you can know what you want and how to build it. What is not a meta build, something more challenging. It sounds like you're doing what a lot of people do with these games, so against Elden Ring. You're letting you're letting the bad side of this community's attitudes get to you and make you feel like a failure. Your own post talks about the process of being fun until you get to the place where you're comparing yourself to others' opinions. And then the fun comes to a screeching halt, and that sucks. If you're not careful, this community will become an abusive relationship that shames you for non-conformity. F them. Enjoy yourself. They enjoy themselves by always upping the challenge, then great. But that's enjoyable for them. Some people like that. Maybe you don't. Don't force feed yourself someone else's standards in this or anything else in life. Ooh, I feel like this really applies to every type of community as well. I get that humans have a desire to compare things, but I feel too many people forget that everyone's life and experiences are their own, and they should do what makes them feel happy, as long as it's not causing harm to others or oneself. I find it such a joke that people would actually get upset over a downvote nowadays. I don't mind builds that make the game easy at all. I encourage people who are struggling with the game to try them because it may ease that learning curve just enough to get them to really enjoy it. You didn't wreck bosses because of your weapons. I breezed through the game spamming Death's Poker with Ash of War with no skill, great shield after I was unsatisfied with my build. Now I run River of Blood build and I don't feel the slightest hint of guilt about it. If you want a challenge, you could always do a fresh run with a different build. It's not the end of the world. Who cares what some random guy on the net think of a build you use in PvE, or if you use summons or spirits. People always whine about players using tools given to them in the Souls franchise, and will continue to be a thing as long as those games come out. Yeah. So this is Dead by Daylight. Meta builds and why they make the game boring. From 2020, I don't know if it's kind of old, maybe it's changed from then, but hey, rabbit hole. Many games have a meta ways of playing that are more common than others due to them being better in other ways. In shooter games, this could be something like certain runs of characters. Like shooters, DBD has a limited meta that changes with balances to certain killers and perks. Because games like DBD are inherently difficult to balance, meta builds are very common, especially in higher ranks. Higher meta builds usually use DS, whatever. In my opinion, this makes the game more boring. It's not the player's fault for using these perks, they're just better than most of the available perks, especially for killers that are underpowered. Where not using these perks will most likely lose you the game, with 5 gens being done within 2 minutes. It's so boring to see the same perks in every game though. I think that some perks like DS or Pop should slightly be nerfed. Hey, what's up? Again, you didn't come by. Not knowing exactly what perks the enemy is using will make the game more difficult and skill-based, and more fun and a wide variety of player styles to choose from. What balance changes would you guys like to see? They're just talking about the game. Alright, don't care about that. It's a game called Backpack Battles. I don't know what this is, but hey. Competitive players or meta builds becoming far too common. I don't think meta is always gonna be there. Basically, he tried to just have fun. Become basically the title. I even tried to play both ranked and unranked to experiment with new items and silly builds. You cannot do it anymore. If you're not min max, you lose really easy now. I have no idea how a brand new player could have fun anymore. Past the very bottom tiers. If I cannot experiment and have fun anymore, I'd like to just forget about this game. How was your day? I had a decent day. Work was okay. Came home, actually slept, and I rested for like 5 hours. But I'm not feeling too well, so that's probably why. Now, for this post, if you're in ranked, you can't come in ranked all willy nilly. You need to know what you're doing, and I guess for ranked, you have to pick a certain character. I know, it goes against everything, but it's ranked for a reason, right? This is like high level gameplay. You can't just come here with tiers, a C tier player. You have to find somebody who you can rank with that's close to somebody that you like that you can't rank with. In unranked, do what you want, have fun, try stuff. But if you're doing that, you're not really trying to win. Because at the end of the day, it's a competitive game, right? So you have to pick somebody that can compete. So now it's all about balance. Now is the game balanced? So this is kind of different. But at the same time, if you want to have fun, you should be able to have fun. But it's harder in a game that's like fully competitive. Oof. Alright. This has been you guys' first Sunday stream. You might get one more, you might get two more today, but we'll see about that. We'll see how I feel. About to hop off in a little bit. I just went to a little bit of a rabbit hole rant. And I also want to touch on the whole Hassan thing. About streamers he's having like a hard life. So every job is gonna have its ups and downs, right? And I guess streaming is a job now that has its ups and downs. It is stressful and straining. It is particularly demanding if you're doing it for yourself, like you recording the videos, you're streaming, you're editing the videos, you're posting the videos, you're keeping up with the schedule. You have to look for the games you need to play if you're a gamer. You have to look for the content to talk about if you're like a podcaster or like somebody that just talks and just chatting. It has to be engaging, entertaining. You have to watch what you say. I understand that, but you can't compare streaming to like a normal 9 to 5 because I do both. And even though I just stream like 1 hour or 2 hours a night, I'd rather stream than go to work. If I have to choose between streaming all day or going to work all day, I would stream all day. Because that's the easier one. But it's actually something that I actually enjoy doing, something I actually want to do as well. Ever since I was 6 years old with a Game Gear in my hand, I was like, this is the best thing ever. Summers were the best time ever because summers was all about gaming, all about games. Either be a brand new game or we just go to Blockbuster and just tear up every single shelf, whatever game we get our hands on to an extent. But yeah, I feel like that was such a bad way to state that you got done so much better because there's already a lot of grief just from being a content creator, especially one of those games. It's like, what do you do? Well, I play video games, and it's like, they're looking at you funny, but it's like, this is what I love. This is what I do. And I guess because it's just video games in general has always gotten a bad rap. So now it's like, if you're just playing video games, it's like that's all you do. It's consuming you. You're not responsible adults because you play video games all the time. But it's not like this is a hobby. This is also like a mental health thing because it's like I get to chill. And even with all the stuff I said before about it being stressful, in the moment when you're playing the game, it's like you're back as a kid again, just enjoying yourself, leaving the world for a little bit, entering a story where you're the main character and you get to change what happens in this world. Unlike the world that's out here, where it's like for some people you're just stuck and the narrative's already written out, the end's already written out, and you're just following along that path until you get to the end. And that's why I've always liked video games, especially for me and my life and growing up for me, just to escape. Just escape the world for a little bit, for an hour, for 2 hours. Just escape, become your own main character, become your own hero, form connections in the game, make decisions, and just enjoy life for a little bit. When you come back to the real world, you're a little bit more relaxed and you can face things. And you can learn things now. You can do puzzles, you can think outside the box, you can do math, you can do probability. Like, the whole like gaming, making children violent and stuff like that. I have never played any Grand Theft Auto game. The allure wasn't there for me. I've never played any game that was extremely violent, or like, personally, even right now, in the last Steam Next Fest was a game called Troublemaker. I played it on stream and it was okay, and I recorded and it was okay. But then I bought the game, played the game for like 20-30 minutes, and I was like, I can't play this game. But like, every other word was a curse word. It was a fighting game, which was okay. It's like Sleeping Dogs, but like, the dialogue was so expletive heavy. It was like, it distracted me from the entirety of the game, because you know, they talk while you're playing, while you're walking around and stuff, and it's like, I turned off the cursing and it was just beeping all the time. It's a different language, so I don't know what they're saying. So I'm like, I can't showcase this game if I wanted to. It was one of my best performing videos, but like, I couldn't back that game. And I'm not like a family friendly channel or anything like that, but just like, there's a limit, I feel, to like how much cursing you should just be doing in just one sentence or like one paragraph. I don't know, but I said to say, like, for some people, gaming can possibly make them think differently and become probably aggressive, but for most people, especially for me, it's just a way to leave this realm for a little bit and just enjoy myself, make it that much easier when I come back to just enjoy myself. But anyways, this has been my little rabbit hole solo rant on the state of gaming now and just what gaming means to me. I hope it's been entertaining, informative, or whatever. And I might do more of these. It's like random pop-ups and talk about what's going on, or just talk about like what one game's state is, even though we know nothing about other games, but we know about the games that we play. I could actually do maybe like a deep dive into the games I've beaten, see what people say about it, to see if our thoughts align or whatever. If there's any like slight gaming news, I don't want to do like news, but I want to like talk about stuff that I can talk about. Anyways, this has been State of Gaming. I'll catch you guys sometime today, which is Sunday.